Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, and we've got a special one for you this evening. We've got some NECC Division 4 finals. It's been playoff season for the past few weeks, and we have two undefeated teams meeting in the finals. MSU Esports, obviously, that's why you're here. And then the Eagles varsity squad. Let me double check and make sure I get this name right. It is the
Embry
Embry
Riddle.
Riddle Aeronautical University, ERAU, if you will. Both teams coming in 7-0. I'm Dancing Buffalo. I've got Ben Artemis. Who else but the president of MSU Esports here for the finals on the desk with me? How's it going, man?
I'm doing great, man. Sort of still coming down from that very high from Egg Bowl. If y'all don't know, Egg Bowl just recently happened. We took home the trophy again for the three-peat, and it's some really exciting stuff to be the president in charge of it all. But enough about me. Let's get into the actual map bans that we see here today. First of all, we're going to bring it to Split. Split's a pretty OG map. Although it hasn't seen that many map changes, it is still a really exciting game and really exciting map to play on. A lot, like the name suggests, a lot of split pushes that you see through mid. But yeah, going into the next map that we've got, it is Haven. Haven is a staple for MSU Esports, a three-sided map, but a very OG map, if you will. I think it's one of the first four, maybe the first three. But it's a great map all around, and we've got uh, a strong hold on that map. Next map, pretty interesting. It is ERAU. We're gonna say ERAU. They picked Corrode. Now, Corrode's a very new map. It's the most new map in the game, and it's quite interesting. A lot of people compare it to sort of a mix up between like Abyss, sort of with the long mid, and then the splits off into the other sites. And the next map is Sunset, which MSU actually picked, and ERAU is going to be picking defense or attack first, and then the decider if it goes to a fifth map, and hopefully it doesn't because we're going to be in store for a very long stream. Is Bind, where MSU picked defense first. Just to let you know, as we're about to get into it, MSU picked defense first, so ERAU is going to be having the chance to attack first, and we're about to get into this game like pretty much right now.
Yeah, looks like we're just waiting on one player from Era U, the Eagles, to get into the lobby before we can start it here. But yeah, some interesting picks. Some of what we've seen throughout the season from Mississippi State. We've seen plenty of split. We've seen a fair amount of Haven. They played Sunset 5 times across their two different the NECC and the P1 that they've been playing in. Um,
Yes.
Obviously, with the map pool changing a couple of weeks ago, some of the uh, maps that you may have seen earlier on in the season, like Lotus, we're not going to see today. But I will be interested to see. This is a best of five, and that map 3 in Corrode could very well be it's definitely the exclamation point for me because
Right.
Mississippi State has only played Corrode twice. They are 2-0 in their maps on it. Era U has played Corrode twice as well and has gone 1-1 in those matchups. So it'll be interesting to see. But before we get there, we're starting off with Split. It's one of the maps it's been in since the beta. Like you said, not a ton of changes to this map since its inception all the way back in 2020. But what we will see in a change are the agent selections. You're not going to see the 2020 agent lineup. You're going to see some familiar faces, but with a very expansive roster of agents at their disposal. These teams are going to be bringing some new strats to the server today.
Right. I mean, the agent pool has more than tripled since the inception of Valorant, and that's for a good thing. It allows for a lot more versatility in game compositions, but a lot of the time, there's the staples that have been around forever, like Raze. I mean, for those who are OGs of the game, I don't know if you remember this, but Raze used to have 2 grenades in the beta, which they thankfully held back on and only gave her 1 nade, and it used to do a ton of damage. It actually used to stun you, like hit to do shooting with guns. They slow down your movement, and the Raisinade used to as well. But very interesting comps that we see here. We've got the Veto, the newest agents in the map pool, and I think that's going to be a really interesting pick. Veto is one of the more mix-up heavy characters, and on a map that both teams haven't actually played that much in. Or sorry, I'm thinking about Corrode. I'm off my rocker. Anyway, backing up, Veto, very interesting agent. You haven't seen him that much in competitive play because a lot of people just don't know how to use him. A lot of the time, you use your abilities to set you up for advantageous fights. But for Veto, his kit, it's pretty interesting. You've got 2 TPs. You've got something that negates anything, any throwable ability. Some things still get through, like abilities that help yourself, like the Reyna heal, I believe, is still shows up, and such. Like the Veto also has a trip that's sort of his sentinel ability, but definitely not as much of an info character as, but he's very great for sight holds, and I think that's what ERAU is going to use. But now we're not talking about defense, we're talking about attack. As we get into this first game, ERAU on the attack, and 5 players right about to attack into B.
Yeah, we'll have to see what this Mississippi State defense is going to be able to do here. They were stacking over towards that A side. The rotation's coming through quickly. Jalen not wanting to be picked off early. Going to wait for the cavalry to arrive. Going to allow Spike to go down. It's going to be a 5-on-5 retake here going in. A couple of ERAU members hanging out in the boat shed in B main, but there is that rain raise. We've seen it a lot. Was able to do a lot of work in that esports egg goal a couple of weeks ago, but the kills are trading through. The Vipers from each teams are the first on the boards, but Pleblord not settling, able to get 2 of their own. And now in the 2v1 here, Astra had wrapped all the way around. The Cyber Cage is allowing a little bit of cover, but with neither player able to get on the spike yet. Running out of time, didn't have the time, and gave away the kills. Libby not trying to outrun that detonation, is going to go down to the spike, and that is a first round for the Eagles.
I'm interested to see what MSU's game plan was, especially in that 2v1 situation. You saw that Pleblord actually set up his cyber cam, which took away a lot of information from that Astra, made the Astra pop out from heaven so that he could possibly push up closer and secure 1 kill off of Jalen. And that's exactly what he did. But I'm curious why Pleblord didn't stick. Maybe it's because he was so low, he was afraid that he was just going to get spammed through. Very quick early round for MSU. Lots of quick succession kills, and that's a really quick round for ERAU to secure their buy round very convincingly so. Sorry I wasn't able to give the play-by-play caster any opportunity to cast, but to call back to an old saying, I can't even commentate that. I said that during Valorant Black's stream when they played on Haven, and Maddie Citri got an ace after jumping through heaven, I believe, and that was also very hard to commentate. But it is MSU Esports' time to buy. You see Mika-chan's very classic Odin come out here, and the Pleblord places his almost unbreakable trip unless you get close. So that's going to be very nice for the mid control. And Mika-chan getting some insane chip damage through mid. Finds 1.
Yeah, gets 1 already here. It's stacked over on the B side of top mid here, but was able to cross through with all of that smoke utility from either team. And the thing with Mika-chan playing Viper with that Odin is between these smokes, between the bubble, the snake bite, the wall, that's all, if you walk through it to try to aggress onto that Odin, as we do see Mika-chan go down there, you become vulnerable, and then it's just 2 or 3 bullets. Even with full armor, you're going to be spammed down. Timing there, Yui Kari had snuck up on Dubes, and the Guardian able to take down the captain for Mississippi State. Had tucked away in the corner, but outgunned at close range with that Guardian. 1-shot headshot potential Now it's just Rain. One shot, not able to find the kill. Jalen followed up with another in mid. Now it's a 2v3 situation for Mississippi State here. Pleblord's able to get one. Stops the spike plant, evens things up at 2 apiece. Jalen clearing out towards back screen. Pleblord playing close, has the shot as well. Go ahead and invest the neural theft. Not wanting to give anything away here. Now, it's a classic 2v1 post plant. You have the numbers, you have the health advantage.
Oh my god!
But lining up and Tacky, I'm going to say Tacky. I don't know if it's how you pronounce it or not. The lineup was there, 88 HP, but gets the 3rd and 4th kill on the round. And takes away Mississippi State's buy round. They took away the guns out of ERAU's hands, but that's 3-0 on the side of the Eagles here early.
I like the direction that Uikari was taking, especially knowing that both their teammates are low, Uikari and Tacky. I'm going to say Tacky. I might have to ask for further pronunciation. But I like that he got aggressive. He saw that both the players are very low. They're not going to win a 1-to-1 gunfight. He tried to find an advantage by pushing up, and Pleblord was there to answer. Very great awareness on his part. And as we're getting into this next round, Mikachan pushing out mid with a Bucky and a Dream. Unfortunately, goes down to Star Class.
Yeah, not able to find anything there on the long-range shots. Jalen able to pick off one, but caught out close. Dubes with the Sheriff is able to find 2. Had to spam those first 4 shots to secure the first, but was able to slow the heart rate, slow the rate of fire. Finds the headshot to take out a 2nd. So that will be a 4th round for the Eagles, but Mississippi State, again, taking some guns out of the Eagles' hands as we see a timeout coming through from Pleblord, of all people. We saw Mikachan type in the chat that they wanted time, but Pleblord the one making the call here.
Yeah, just to inform everybody, Bo is still casting, or coaching, but he is watching the stream through somebody else streaming. It is above board there in the NECC chat, so it's not like there's any foul business going on here. It's just I believe he's casting from his family, so he doesn't have the hardware to run Valorant on. But Bo is still in the backseat casting. Thank you for that context, Will Dubes, the team captain, for letting me know that. But yeah, it isn't like Pleblord has like a master plan. He did a timeout on Bo's behalf. But getting into this next round, last round, it was pretty ideal for MSU. You don't expect to win those, and rarely do you do when you have such a small buy. But you did get some pretty good damage on the economy of ERAU. The average economy that we see is about 2.75 thousand for the remainder after the buy round from ERAU. So they've got a full buy round still, but so does MSU. Very important that they win this round. It was a good time for them to take a timeout, and ERAU is taking it slower all the way around the map.
Yeah, smart from both teams here. Winning, like losing the 5th round after you lost the first 4 is almost the most important. Again, that's an opinion and it's arguable. But you lose round 3, it being your first gun round. You lose the first, you lose the second, you have your full buy, you lose round 3. That's still, you're able to come back from. But if you lose the first 5 and you give up, you go down 5-0, you don't have a buy, you're going to have to go down 6-0 unless you have some crazy thrifties. So this is a very important round for Mississippi State, and the Eagles respecting that, slowing things down, but Pleblord switching it up, changing up, and going over onto the A site instead of B. Yuri was trying to find a way around those trips, but is spotted out. Rain is going to be taken down, however, overwhelmed coming into heaven here. Jalen able to pop one of the Seekers, but goes down to Starkos as well. Finding a couple of headshots with that Vandal is going to open up that B site for the Eagles. They're going to get the plant down. Spike is going to be placed. Now, Pleblord's wrapped around backside here. Spots the elbow out, but the immediate star being used from Livy. Now, Mikachan on the Odin between him and Dubes, able to spam through the corner and get the kill onto Chubby Dean. And the spam coming through as well. This is one thing that the Odin is good for. You don't even need the Neon agent to whip it out, but the rate of fire is so so fast, and you're able to spam across those corners and get those, you know, those bangable positions where if anyone tries to strafe back in for those counter peaks, they're just getting eaten down, and that is your first round for Mississippi State.
Yeah, I want to say that the X factor there is definitely the Odin. I saw ERAU's defense and site defense. It looked very strong. And I do want to take a moment to point out Vito's util usage. Even though it sometimes goes underappreciated, it is pivotal to a site hold. You saw Vito set up his tripwire in mid to prevent the loss of information there. And even though Vito died there, he still knew that they were pushing from there. Looks like a gamble stack from ERAU allowed MSU Esports to get a very convincing site take. Unfortunately, that showstopper did not find anything somehow, as Omen remains unscathed.
Spamming out that default box, not able to find any chip damage behind those walls, and then the Viper from the Eagles making sure Elbow is not going to be easy to come through. Seekers are going to be invested in here. Dubes teleporting in is immediately taken down from the Stinger. Now Rain's playing a little farther back and is going to be spammed out as well. Starkos had picked up the Phantom, and with 5 members still up for the Eagles, they have brought a Thrifty within reach here. Only 2 players left for Mississippi State, and I think the call may be to save these last 2 rifles, not wanting to have to invest anymore. They take 1 out. They're going to be hanging around for just a little while longer, see if there's any last-second rotations out of screens. There are none. And Jalen and Mikachan bringing the rifles back over to round 7 here, but giving up round 6 to ERAU.
It was a very opportune time for Uikari to use that Viper's Pit. Like you were saying, it was the sort of thrifty round for ERAU there, and very convincingly so. They 5-stacked, MSU gamble stacked on the other sides and played retake for A. But with that Viper's Pit, it's very hard to retake any site. You still have that Odin from Mikachan that helps with the penetration and, you know, finding random kills out of nowhere. I really like that quick site take execution, and Mikachan unfortunately goes down through a kill through the smoke. The sprayer becomes the sprayee, and a very early pick for ERAU going into this round. But Rain has a very quick and early presence, and Showstops does not get one, but that's some chip damage off of the Astra, but gets killed right back due to the Sky. Rain gets away with his life, decides not to throw that nade.
Yeah, saving that last bit of utility there. Get some chip damage, not able to find the kill. Pleblord finds one. Yuri had crawled all the way into heaven, and I think was just trying to maintain space, but looking the wrong direction there. Pleblord picked up Mikachan's Odin and is still going to find some use with it. Sparko's using that blast pack, but is going to be taken down. Immediately traded out, however. Jalen gets some more chip damage with the Phantom, but it's not the Odin. 3v2 still doable for Mississippi State, and a timing here as Dubes stepped in as Chubby Dean had teleported through. We'll have to see who checks their back first, but neither one are aware right now.
Oh, this could be
Chubby
so
Dean may just be holding the flank. Yeah, Dubes is now on to site, but I don't think either one are prepared to be seen from behind. Pleblord's able to get one. Chubby Dean does take down Dubes, so the call is going to be made there. Grabs the Phantom instead. Going to be cyber caging himself out. Does get a little bit of utility out. Astra's stars can be so annoying and pesky as a defender, trying to get that defuse. And Pleblord, once again, similar to Jalen on that 2nd or 3rd round at the beginning of the game, too many players left alive, and time being played well by the Eagles, not getting over aggressive and peaking together to secure a 6th round in this first half of map 1.
ERAU's team comp is very tricky. It's been very hard to work around for MSU. I mean, you've got such strong site hold util from the likes of Vito, from Astra, and Viper. So it's very scary if MSU lets them get into the site. And what I saw from Pleblord, which I was really excited for, unfortunately it wasn't seen, but Pleblord got the Viper. And Mikachan with 3!
single-handedly bringing it back within reach for Mississippi State. Whoever says he's a one-trick on the Odin was incorrect. 3 on the Bucky, 8 HP left. Gonna get topped back off. Jalen Sky getting Mika-chan back healthy. Get him back on the front line.
Wow.
Not only taking out 3, but taking out 3 rifles as well.
I mean, come on, MSU Esports. At least give me some time to commentate and dissect the game. I mean, like, it's hard to color cast when these rounds are so explosive, you know? But isn't that the way it should be?
Oh yeah, we love explosive gameplay here. Mika-chan still holding around that corner. You got 3 kills, but was not able to pick up any of the rifles. Holding on to the Bucky. Dubes is holding out onto that catwalk area. Holding on that side of the smoke. Able to get 1 and the second. Great, just mechanical skill from the captain there. ERAU thought somebody was going to be playing close. They wanted to set up the swing to avoid the crossfire, but instead, Dubes playing the off angle and is able to pick up both and grab a second round for Mississippi State and some free rifle upgrades as well.
Wow. I mean, yeah, just like I was saying, and it still remains true. The 3K from the Bucky was really pivotal for MSU, but on normal rounds where the normal buy is all rifles, MSU Esports has to find a way to, I guess, plug all of the holes that are in for the side entrances. I wouldn't say that ERAU's, comp is the most explosive. Oh, I might take that back. But they really do depend on lurks. And they get one entrance pick, and I might be eating my words, but they do get on site pretty successfully. I think they're just a very dynamic team comp. We've seen them play back and play for just Viper taking presence, but they've also been extremely explosive, and I guess that's what you need in a very cerebral match. Versatility, being able to change on a dime and a pivot is very important to winning a game.
Yeah, they've changed up their execs enough to where they're usually only facing one member from this Mississippi State defense as a 4 or 5 person like death ball. And then once they get that spike down, they have a really complementary like post plant hold where they cross their angles. They're making sure that their multiple people are watching the angles needed. They win their ones, and then they're able to get out and keep their lives. Like, they weren't able to chase down Jalen there, but when you're in that post-plant situation where it's 5v4 immediately, 5v3 to 2 immediately, like, at that point, you don't really have a strong chance from a defensive side to retake that site, get 5 kills, and then defuse the spike all in a limited amount of time.
Right, especially against their composition. Astro with the pull can take you off spike with a, orchestrated molly from the Viper can also get them off site. And, a split as a map, it isn't the hardest to play for mollies. B, you can just directly shoot it from B main and get a molly on. A, it's a little bit trickier. Maybe you play re-wrap into A after the defense drops into site to try and retake. But Split is a very easy map to get onto site and play offense. Very early
there,
pick.
spamming through the Astra smoke is 1, and then Tacky peeking from mid, able to get another, and then Snarkos follows up with 2 more, had pushed back out in range, and then Rain not expecting the rappel up into heaven. It's able to find 1, but not more, and after 10 rounds of the first half, it's 8-2 for the Eagles.
I really actually I like that word repel. I mean, you don't hear it that much in dialect. A lot of the times you just say he's ziplined up there, but yeah, repel. I like that word. And brings me back to Boy Scouts when we used to do outdoor adventures. But enough about me. 2-8 scoreline right now for MSU Esports, and things are looking a little dicey. They're up 6 rounds. They've already used their timeout, and the showstopper from Starkos gets into sight and might find Flooplord. It does. Snipes him. And that is a lot of information taken away. And Uikari on his lurk finds Dubes.
Yeah, Mississippi State had gambled A there, not able to find it. Now also not able to get any trades here. We saw Migachan rushing down with the Stinger, not able to find it, but Rain's Bulldog, along with Jalen, able to pick up 2 more. Jalen gonna get that upgraded rifle, pick up the Vandal here. Into the crossfire, able to find 1. Tacky immediately runs away, does not want to give up both in a 3v1 here. Now, once again, you see, not playing the ego, going to be playing their numbers, but now Jalen has got it down to a 1v1, but with the concussed, you get it to halfway, but you only have so much time here to get the kill. It's gonna be a close one as it's ticking down, and a 1/10 of a second between winning and losing that round. Mississippi State loses a heartbreaker there, and once again, the Eagles defense plays patient enough to pick up another.
Man, that was such a close round, especially given MSU's circumstance of the save round, or the buying for last for that 12th round. Very, very close round. You've got some crazy picks from Jalen with the 4-piece, I believe. And unfortunately, like you said, the difference is 12 100ths of a second between. This just shows, if anything, this shows that both of these teams deserve to be in these finals. And, I'm here for it. We've got a best of 5. Now that ERAU took the first round, in order for us to win, it might be a four game match. But I'm here for it.
Yeah, as we see the last round of the first half here, a lot of presence and utility shown outside B, took down Pleblord and grabbed the entire Mississippi State defense's attention. But the wrap came through. Spike has been planted A, and now with all 5 members over, it's going to be a battle and defender spawn here between the defenders of Mississippi State and the attackers of ERAU. Rain finds 2. He's going to pop the showstopper, but Chubby Dean answers with 2 of his own. He's going to be able to teleport away, and is just down to Rain with 5 HP. Has the site auto himself, but Spike is planted for that front of site. And the classic from Starco's 5 HP, all you had. It's going to be a 10-round first half for the Eagles here.
Yeah, being up 8 rounds allows ERAU to, take things a little bit more calmly, be a little bit more relaxed. And yeah, just a very strong attack for ERAU. It seemed like there was not a designated lurker, but just whoever was there. I saw a lot of rotation. A lot of this game is about pattern recognition and, being able to tell, and counting people. Bo, the team captain, I play with him. I've played with him a couple of times, actually quite a lot, and he's taught me how to count players, see who's missing. But for ERAU, a lot of these players are flexible in their positioning. We saw Raze on the lurk, and before that it was Viper. Before that, sometimes it was Cypher or sometimes it was Vito. And I want to commend them for their versatility and able to pivot. It's very important for this game. As much as I want to win against them, game recognizes game.
As Rain finds the opener on the pistol, the blind comes through, but Tacky not wanting to step through that Omen smoke. And now Jalen waiting on that snake bite to dissipate before planting Spike for Mississippi State. And now they get to play the post-plant hold here in the 5v4. Dubes able to take down Yui, gets the spam through. Tacky wants to pick up the ghosts and able to find a kill. Teammate finds another. Libby goes down to Mika-chan, who is still alive for the moment. Is going to go down to Starkos, but immediately traded when the dust settles. 2v1. Jalen and Dubes once again line up. The picked up ghost from Tacky finds the headshot onto Dubes, who was unintentionally, I think, body blocking Jalen, who was already tagged down. And now Tacky once again in a last man standing clutch situation and comes through off of the Mississippi State players lining up.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of rounds from MSU just go down to unlucky positioning and just bad timing. This isn't the only time that we've seen players line up, and we this isn't the only time that we've actually seen the same player on ERAU side, Taki, I believe that's how you say it, exploit those. So he got a nice lineup with a Phantom earlier in the game. Yukari doing a similar thing that Mika-chan did, gets flashed by Jalen to get off of that angle, but it's a very dangerous angle to be in, and it looks like Sky replaces him.
Yeah, and as the smoke clears here, it's going to be crossfire set up, and at the end of the day, Mississippi State wins the battle in mid by way of numbers. 3 players left up to 2. But the Spectre, these SMGs can just shred through. He's able to tuck.
No way!
And 1v1 here. Let me stop talking. Rain down dangerously low. It's Chubby Dean. The lone rifle is able to pick up the kill and end what was a frenzy, but not the pistol, for a Mississippi State second round of the second half.
Yeah, it was definitely a stinger of a match, or of a round to see, as MSU got really close on looks like it was a force buy round. Yeah, and if we look at their gun composition right now, you've got the Bucky, 2 Bulldogs, 1 Guardian on Rain. He's been pretty good with it in the past, and actually a Deagle from Dubes. Not an ideal buy for their last round, 212. At this point, unfortunately, it's hard to say, but it might just be a go next. But with 2 early picks, MSU finds some good guns on their end, and Rain picks up a second in the round on Yukari.
So they get kills, but they also get free rifle upgrades. They're going to get plant down. It's a 5v2 post plant. And now you want to keep as many members left alive here as you can. Rain does go down after planting, and now Taki is able to pick up another. So from 5v2 to 3v2, the blind, and Taki is on for the ace with 3 already. Immediately into the dog. No, spotting out 1. Dubes reveals himself on the other. Dubes' sheriff takes down 1.
Wow.
And Taki does not have another one in him. Jalen able to pick up the kill here. Mississippi State still in map 1. Get a couple of rifles off of their force buy to keep them in this one.
For a second, I actually thought Taki was going to opt to use that ultimate, those Seekers. It definitely would have been a mix-up for MSU Esports, but decided against it, understood that they have 9 more rounds of leeway before they go into overtime. MSU Esports has an absolutely large hill to climb, but not an impossible one.
Yeah, the biggest thing for Mississippi State here is you want to take it 1 round at a time, but this showstopper could do a lot of damage here, but Jalen's just going to do it with the rifle. Takes down Yukari, and that's no Viper for ERAU here. So that's no smokes. You're not going to have that wall. You're not going to have the snake pit either. And the pistols from ERAU, overwhelming Pleb Lord. Then Chubby Dean with the Spectre, also able to take down Jalen.
Whoa.
Finds a second onto Mika-chan. The flank from Chubby Dean's able to take down 2. And just like that, numbers are flipped. And Mississippi State is now on the back foot. Dubes was on alert from that omen, and now is having to sit in a 1v3 map point. Able to find the first, get the second here. Great mechanical skill from the captain. Hasn't picked up the spike yet, but uses the ult to pick up the spike.
Okay.
And after a couple of headshots, weren't able to find the kill. The Phantom eventually does. The captain keeping Mississippi State in this one. Love the tech of using the ult to go to where the spike is around the corner, immediately canceling it, knowing you have the spike. That then forces the Eagle Rays to aggress, because they're expecting the rush onto site to try to get that spike planted, played patient, and was able to find the kill.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that diagnosis. And honestly, Starcross really thought, TP'd across to get rid of that side angle, and used his ult to get the spike. Starcross thought he was home for the site, but no, he bided his time. He was very smart, and yeah, gives another round for MSU. If anything, very enjoyable Valorant to watch. That nade's gonna do crazy damage. Oh,
the Guardian not able to find the shots as Yurikari gets 2 before being taken down. Pleblord finds 2 of his own. He's able to get the Neural Theft off as well. So information going to be here for Mississippi State. Megachan and that Odin creeping up and gets the wall bang. That'll be Sight as well. The last 2 members of ERAU were leaning towards that A site, and now Pleblord trying to make sure no one is going to be making this short route into heaven here. The Seekers coming through and not able to find the shot. The headshot coming through. Megachan waiting till the last second for that Seekers. And Chubby Dean, again, the great timing from ERAU is going to be the key to map 1. So Mississippi State, ERAU with the split pick and winning in a convincing fashion, 13-4. Next up will be Mississippi State's pick of Haven. We'll have to see what Bo and the Bulldogs can come up with in this little bit of a break to reset, the mental reset, and make sure that they are ready for the 3-sided map of Haven.
Yeah, but with that being said, we're going to take a quick intermission to let these players recuperate, talk about strategies before getting into the 3-sided map here today. This is a strong map for MSU Esports, so hopefully, fingers crossed, they do well in it. But we'll see y'all very soon. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, for some NECC Division 4 Valorant Finals. First map went the way of ERAU. Second map is Haven. It is MSU's pick. We're going to see some really close Valorant in store for you today.
Yeah, and we saw a lot of just a lot in general in map 1. Split, as we said, it's a map that's been around since the beginning of Valorant. And I'm not sure if it was, maybe some agent selection that may have caught Mississippi State off guard, or if, ERAU had just done their homework. But either way, that was map 1. This is a best of 5. There's a reason we're playing 5 maps. One map can't decide the finals here. And map 2 is Haven. Again, another map that's been in since very early on in Valorant. This is a 3-site map, so we're going to see a little bit of a different agent composition here, where you saw a little bit more of your sedentary and your controllers on Split. You're going to see some fan favorites from the side of Mississippi State, but we're also going to see some changes up on the ERAU side as well. Looks like Chubby Dean is dropping off the veto in favor of the Killjoy, and Starkos, who had played Raze in map 1, picking up the Yoru in map 2, but Rain, who also played Raze in map 1, is not going to mirror that, as Dubes is the Yoru player from Mississippi State.
Yoru can be somewhat hard to solo duelist for. Sometimes it's hard to entry and, have your players play off of each other and play off of that Yoru entry. That's why MSU elected to do the double duelist pick. So it looks like both sides, their team composition, they're starting off on their unfavored side. So for the sake of MSU, let's hope that they can defend these rounds before they go into their more favored, into both teams go into their more favored side. I would argue that a double controller comp is a lot more defense-sided, especially with that KJ, and the inability to rotate over as effectively as possibly a Cypher would. But as we get into this first round of NECC Division 4 Finals, map 2, it's the side for ERAU to attack first, as we get into a pretty C-leaning site take.
Yeah, the attackers of ERAU leaning towards that C side, like you said. Killjoy snuck out into the grass area. Just want to see if anyone's chasing out double doors out of the garage. But Rain able to find 2. The great trigger discipline to stay patient. Find 2 before being taken down, and a spike goes down. It is a 3v3 retake situation here. Mika Chan doesn't have the Odin yet. It's just the pistol, but the frenzy in hand. Chubby Dean able to get the better of Deuce. There is Mika Chan sliding in to take down Lie Baby, but Yui Kari has picked up the Sheriff and does find the headshot onto Jalen, who's trying to jiggle peek around logs, changing up the sight line, but not able to find the headshot on the Ghost. And it's another pistol goes the way of the Eagles.
Timing heaven we saw through Jalen's eyes right there. I mean, we saw back and forth and back again for Jalen, and fortunately went down. Yeah, very convincing first round. It looks like MSU is not opting to force buy into this round, opting to take another save. And we see a pretty even distribution of these players, even though it is a save. Silverdart comes out early to give that info, and thankfully Jalen does not re-peek into that that sniper, that outlaw.
Yeah, shoulder was spotted out, but does retreat back onto the side here. Aldron's going to be heard, is going to be broken, but I do believe that Mika-chan was spotted out. Going to be smoked out, shock darted, paranoid as well. Still trying to clear him out, but Jalen's Classic is able to take down TCK for Chubby Dean's Bulldog takes down Mika-chan. Members of Mississippi State are already on site, but the weapon advantage for the Eagles coming through in a big way here. Have taken down 2 is Mississippi State. And Leblord able to spot out 1, but the Outlaw from Starkos at range takes down Rain, and then the follow-up onto Pleblord as well. The Outlaw only 2 shots at a time before you have to break and rechamber, but those 2 shots coming through for Starkos there.
Yeah, not an unexpected round for MSU esports to lose. They're going into this next buy round as very interesting. Uikari buys that operator. I'm really interested to see they do end up selling it, probably opting to, maybe they're joking a little bit, or maybe they're going to save that operator pick for a little bit later. MSU Esports has their buy round. Dupes opts to only keep that Deagle. Hopefully it won't spell the end for him. Caster's Curse. I need to shut up.
Yeah, great timing as the Omen smoke falls. Starkos finds the headshot with that outlaw that was brought over from the second round. And now it's just Pleblord by himself on that C site, playing a little bit more patient, going to be jump spotting from behind the boxes in back sight. It looks like the Eagles off of that kill are going to be trying to make their way a little split push here. Got a couple in mid. They had thought about running up into the garage through the doors, but it's still Pleblord dispensing that utility, keeping C main contested. Mikachan's able to get out, is going to be paranoid off, but Live Baby down to 2 HP, not able to find much, and Mikachan Odin not breaking through enough corners to get the kill there. Is tagged down to 1 HP, and the Outlaw yet again finds a kill from Starkos. Uikari, the headshot onto Rain, all but secures this one. And now it's just Jalen trying to take some rifles out of the hands of the Eagles here. Finds one, able to spray down the second, picks up the Odin for another, tries to spray out Live Baby, and as you're running out of ammunition there, the reload time is not going to be your friend. Instead, you're happy with 4 kills. Live Baby picks up a Vandal for their troubles, and the fighting will diminish as Spike comes through, and Live Baby didn't get away.
Wow.
Probably had a chance to just walk away from that, but stayed a little closer and instead wanted to die to Spike to get the full investment with the rest of their team there. An interesting decision there. You already had the rifle. Not sure if they were necessarily in need of those credits. I mean, they still have 1,500 left over after the full investment, but either way there, the round win goes to the Eagles and brings it back to 3-0 for your total.
Yeah, that is a pretty painful round for MSU to lose. You have one Odin and the rest Deagles taking this quick mid space. ERAU still doesn't push out in the fear that they haven't full stacked there, and they didn't. It's TCK, is that correct? Yeah, it's TCK. With an interesting lineup. Looks like probably breaking an alarm bot, possibly. Looking to not an alarm bot. Looking to break a trip. It looks like entrance trip breaks. But MSU finds the site take. Dubes does not break it in time. And with some whiff shots, Dubes finds one of his own with Mikachan. And TCK gets one through the smoke.
Yeah, kills coming through for both sides here. Mississippi State able to stop the initial site take from ERAU. Even invested the Hunter's Fury there, but Spike's still going to go down despite it. Now it's just Rain left. Wow. He's going to be spotted out. Gets a headshot for his troubles, but that's going to be an ace for TCK when all is said and done.
Yeah, TCK is absolutely putting on a performance with that on that round. Actually consists of all 5 kills that he has. Pleblord, well, Bo probably in the background opting to take that time out as MSU Esports is going into their buy round. That's my alarm clock.
If you're Mississippi State here, you're probably just trying to have a mental reset. Like, yet again, I mean, similar to map 1 on Split, you lose your first full buy, but you lose your first full buy on round 3. You're not able to scrap anything together for round 4, even though you do get a couple of kills. So now this ever important round 5 here, you don't want to go down 5-0. You want to make sure you're getting something on the board before the snowball gets a little too out of hand. They were able to pick up the 5th round in map 1. We'll have to see if they're able to do it in map 2 as the timeout ticks to an end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, intermissions or timeouts, if you will. Interesting observing here. We see the
PNGs.
PNGs of foliage. Th- Um, anyway, it's a pace breaker for sure. It allows the both sides actually to reorganize. See what's working, see what's not, and try and develop a better plan. Clublord not backing down, is standing his ground, but Starkos with that Bucky is going to make it hard to push onto site without an operator. The very upfront Viper's Pit is going to make it even harder, but Mikachan finds one of his own with Rain as well through window. Chubby Dean trying to take his timing, but gets thwarted. 3v5 situation with that Viper's Pit. It's going to be hard to do anything. Starkos with that Bucky pick of his own is pushing up into that Viper's Pit, and MSU Esports doesn't want anything to do with it. Mikachan with the luckiest kill of his life.
Yeah, great crosshair placement there. Does go down off the finger lasers, however. In the close range paranoia, Live Baby was playing close. Dubes is able to find the kill off the classic, and yet again, Mississippi State falls prey to lining up. Wrong place, wrong time. Darkos is able to find 3 kills in very quick succession there at the end. We saw the Bucky kill through the Viper Pit, but picking up the rifle there and just spamming through. You're able to take down the person off the spike, and the last 2 members of Mississippi State, one on C main and one in C long, just lined up and fell one after another.
Yeah, ERAU's ability to adapt and ebb and flow, sort of like water, is just absolutely dominating MSU Esports. It's
Dubes is snuck up with that Sheriff, able to take down one, get the free rifle upgrade as well, as Mikachan went down first in the round. Rain having to cover a lot of ground here on this defensive side outside of Garage, but holding it down for the moment as there's presence outside of grass, but Live Baby is holding spike outside of A main. So for Mississippi State, it's a lot of just waiting for your moment, but I am happy to see that Mississippi State is playing patient here. There's a difference between gaining info and gaining space and then being aggressive. And Mississippi State playing a little more passive here. They know they have the weapon disadvantage. 4v4, 45 seconds left in the round here. They're trying to see where ERAU is going to make their final stop. And it looks like the pop is going to be through the garage here. So it'll be Rain who has first dibs and is going to have this first contact. But Dubes holding this corner, not wanting Live Baby to be able to walk through onto this flank. Now giving it up, Pleblord. Here's the util coming through. Has the Sheriff in hand. Dubes goes down off the wide swing, but Pleblord's good for one. It took down Chubby Dean, but Jalen follows up on to Starkos. The 2v2 here, but Live Baby lie in wait. Was able to sneak through sight, and now Jalen stuck between a rock and a hard place, and TCK, insult to injury, able to strafe jump through with that knife and buries it into the chest. That's 6 rounds for the Eagles.
As much as it might be tilting, especially after that knife kill, pretty disrespectful, honestly. MSU Esports needs to shake it off. It is their map pick. So for the sake of keeping this competition alive, you've got to look at it, and you've got to. These players know their map. These players know the map in and out, given their repetitiveness on how much they've played it. And MSU Esports going into another bye round. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll be able to swing the momentum back in their favor, as it is a pretty dicey round for ERAU. Their economy could take a beating if they lose all their guns.
Yeah, I was just noticing the same thing. As Mikachan, good for 2. The Odin has come online, but Starkos had made it out onto site. Gets one before going down, and now with the main advantage here, Mississippi State looks like they're going to be able to pick this one up off of Mikachan's 3K before going down. It's just Chubby Dean left, and Killjoy not the probably not the preferred agent going into a 1v3 on the attack side. One thing going for the Chubby is that they have picked up Spike, as you see there. So now it's going to be the decisions. Are you taking it A, or are you going to try to wrap? 35 seconds. You're not going to have your alarm bot. You are outside of the range of it. Dubes is going to be first contact here on the swing. You have Rain playing up close.
Whoa!
And Dubes, nice snap and a flick there, headshot, and Chubby Dean goes down. That'll be the first round for Mississippi State in map 2.
That certainly got to feel good. You know, sort of a breath of fresh air for MSU esports. Like we were saying a little bit early in the round, ERAU took some heavy damage from losing that round. It doesn't look exactly like that given their current buy round. They've got 3 rifles still to spare, but on the side of Starkos and Uikari, they're opting to go for the Bucky and Stinger, but not counting those guns out yet. We've seen quite a lot of damage being put in from both those guns. Mikachan with the early aggression finds one, but gets down to Uikari. And it's just trade heaven here. And Uikari finds 3 on the round.
Yeah, when all's said and done, it looks like the 3 rifles for ERAU are going to be enough to take a 7th round, but don't count them out yet. Pleblord is still up, down into the 1v2. The battle outside of C main left Mississippi State at a big player disadvantage, but Uikari 4 on the round is able to get the timing onto Pleblord. Probably had crept around a little faster than Pleblord was expecting. So 7 rounds here in the first half for ERAU. Mississippi State, the hole's getting deeper, but they're not out of this one yet.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that round, that 6th round that MSU esports, or excuse me, that 7th round that MSU esports saw was an ember of hope. I mean, it might be a little tacky to call to this, but there was a study that scientists found that if I think it was on like mice, and if you give mice, you know, if you put them in a pool of water and no chance to get up, if you give them just a moment of I'll talk about this later.
Mikachan's got the Bucky close range. Pleblord's able to find a 1 with the classic, but the shock dart is able to take Mikachan down. Pleblord Sheriff gets the tag, but not the kill. Baby down to 1 HP, is able to jump away from that shock dart from Jalen. And now, as we are tucked in under heaven here, Baby hit 2 kills on drive-bys with the Phantom. I didn't realize we were playing Counter-Strike here with the run and gun, but Dubes, the captain for Mississippi State, last left alive in the 1v3. Do they expect a flank? They did not, but able to find the kill onto the low health Baby. It's a free rifle upgrade as well. Down to a 1v2 here. Gonna have to wait out that Nano Swarm. Does so. Spots out the shoulder, but the peak coming through. Chubby Dean playing that very well, playing off the teammates' contact. And again, ERAU, when they get into those post-plant situations, they play numbers very, very well. They're not letting ego or pride get in their way, and they're taking very smart engagements to secure rounds.
Like I was saying with that analogy, I was talking about a mouse being put in a pool of water, and it'll make a little bit more sense, but basically what they did was they saw that, you know, the mice would give up past a certain point, but if they gave them just a chance for brevity, a little break, putting them on dry land, that they fought way longer than before. Hopefully for MSU esports, that 1 round was their sake for brevity, and you know, their chance to fight. You know, it just takes 1 round to start a round streak.
And as the execution comes out onto site, Rain and Pleblord have the crossfire set up. They now have spike control behind the Omen smoke from Dubes. Mikachan has made it onto site with the Odin as well, waiting onto that second ping of the neural theft. And they're all down outside of grass. No one's creeping around through to the garage yet, but Pleblord is already there waiting in wait for anyone that chooses to take that path They're going to have to come figure out a way to get onto site to maintain that spike control. Jalen able to find a shock dart kill of their own onto Yuikari. Now Chubby Dean spots out the barrel of the Vandal, but Migachan trades back. And now in the 1v3, it's Mississippi State with the main advantage. Again, spike control in the front of that B site. And now Chubby Dean, his location's known. It's just who wants to peek first. And now it looks like Mississippi State maybe taking a little bit out of the playbook of ERAU with the patient peaks. Let me not say that too soon. The double swing is there, but Mika-chan's Odin, you don't need two guns when you have the one big one. That's a second round for Mississippi State in the second half.
Yeah, and he opts to give it up with the operator in hand. Actually going to Dukes. We've actually seen him quite repetitively take that operator, go in that corner on the right that you see on your screen right now, and you know, just hold close with it and play for a TP out. I believe that's what he's going to do as well. Sometimes it's been very successful. Sometimes he doesn't have time and can't get out in time. But it looks like it's not going to be highlighted this round as ERAU decides for a fake to A, but a presence through mid. And thankfully for MSU Esports, Pleblord is set up both in Garage and in B. The Viper's Pit gets invested very early. That is enough to get on the site, but Pleblord
on the site. But a great spam from Pleblord. Pikachu trying to make the Odin ring true yet again. Hunter's Fury coming through. Spike is going to go down, but not before taking out Star Coast. Dubes is able to use that dimensional drift to get backside as well, make sure that everything is clear there. And yet again, ERAU, they got Spike down this round, but look at this. They do not have the map position and control. Rain had made it up inside, but now Yuikari is good for 3 before going down. But Chubby Dean had made it all the way around site behind Jalen. And after being in a 5v3 advantage, Mississippi State gives up round 11 to the Eagles.
Yeah, it seemed like MSU Esports were not counting their players and not counting their angles. I saw a lot of players just viewing one perspective. You know, it's hard to not do that in a Viper's Pit like that. But you had Rain with the very quick TP out into that corner in B, which could have been very scary if he was the only one there. But the sprays came through with that Viper's Pit, and it was, you know, spelled for certain doom. I want MSU Esports to, you know, be more evenly distributed when it comes to their retake, watching everything, because ERAU is known for their lurks.
In this last round of the first half, Chubby Dean takes down Pleblord. They were given C-Site pretty passively.
Whoa.
And Mika-chan not able to find any kills off the ult. DKV's good for 3, is taken down, but Chubby Dean cleans up the first half. It's a 10-2 scoreline as we switch sides.
So what I'm seeing, and it doesn't matter going into this next round because we're not seeing it anymore, but on the attack side for ERAU, what you noticed is you've got a great handful of players that know how to play trades, play their guns, and stall for time. Well, there's 1 or 2 players, sometimes 2 for the sake of B, who are lurking and just playing their time. You saw Omen outside of C lobby, ready to wrap back into Garage, trusting his teammates that they would hold site effectively. But yeah, it's just very good Valorant, great space taking, space holding. MSU Esports, I think, should be, you know, whenever we play the third map, should be more explosive on their retakes. You know, don't even give ERAU's lurker the chance to come back on the site and have to sprint on the flank to give up their position.
Before we get there, we've got the second half of this one. Mississippi State on the attack side, leaving the spike in spawn. Looks like duels are the way they want to take this pistol. Mika-chan is now the one wrapping back to site, and TCK is able to sneak up. Rain had made it there as well, but goes down to Starkos. Now Pleblord with the right click is able to find one. TCK still here, however, still held on to this recon dart. Swings off the smoke. Able to find Mika-chan to spam with the Sheriff. Good for one, but Lie Baby also here in the corner. Takes a lot of damage from the Shock Dart. Great forethought from Jalen, but Yuri and Chubby Dean clean up the site before Spike is able to go down. And Mississippi State, without having that Spike plant investment, are going to be strapped for cash here in round 2 of the second half.
Yeah, I'm honestly questioning the decision for Pleblord to peek out into that that CT presence. Whenever you're defending, you obviously are playing a player down, so you can't get traded out there, and you turn into a 1v2 situation, just completely turning the tide of the battle. I understand that you want to apply pressure, onto the site so that they don't just immediately retake while the planters trying to plant. But there is a Goldilocks that you have to go there. Starkos with 2 very nice picks and staying on the site.
Running into the meat grinder of a Guardian and an Outlaw. Chubby Dean has finally made it here with an automatic rifle. The Bulldog ringing true for the 4th kill against Mississippi State and Rain. That SMG not able to find anything. The Guardian's good for 2. The Outlaw, 2 shots, 2 kills from Starkos, and that brings the Eagles to map point on map 2.
I like what you did there. Map point instead of mash point.
I try, I yap every now and then.
Oh, yeah. This guy yapped for 8 consecutive hours. Well, with some intermission time between, but 8 hours for the Egg Bowl. And that was an awesome show. We've got that VOD posted on our YouTube right now if you want to see what it was all about. And it was a great little event.
Keeping the Egg Bowl trophy in Starkville for another year against Ole Miss. But here, Starkos, 2 shots, is able to find the kill onto Jalen. To stall the Mississippi State attack. It kind of stalled out C main. Mika-chan's able to get some use out of that stinger, but not from that range. And the numbers and the rifles were there for the Eagles. And that's map 2 of this best of 5 going to the side of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University.
Very long name indeed. Where we will see y'all very soon for the 3rd map in NECC Division 4 finals.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting ready to get into map 3 of this best of 5. You're watching the NECC Valorant Division 4 finals between Mississippi State and the Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, ERAU, if you will. Again, I'm Dancing Buffalo here with Ben Artemis Meyer. Ben, Mississippi State drop map 1, drop map 2, hoping to bring it back on Corrode here for map 3.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some pretty interesting Valorant. Both teams, like we've said in the past, don't have that much experience in competitive play for Corrode. It's a new map, it's a wild card. You don't know exactly what either side is going to bring to the table. And I think it's pretty poetic that this is the third map because at the end of the day, this map is going to be a battle of time allocation, allocating time to maps that even though you won't play in a competitive setting, you're still ready for in the case that it does. And for best of fives like that, it promotes that kind of map play. For the normal season, you can be pretty strong with 3 maps, but to be strong in 5 maps is the decider in finals. So I'm excited to see it. I'm probably expecting to see some pretty interesting gameplay, maybe a couple misplays or interesting rounds where we see 2 players reloading, staring at each other intimately. But yeah, we're going to get into this game like pretty much right now, as the players have graciously let us yap a little bit before we get into this third map. Just waiting for the team captain of MSU Esports to basically press the start match button.
Yeah, it'll be interesting here, as you said, like the not only the newest map to Valorant, but each of these teams have only played Corrode twice in their leagues this season. Mississippi State 2-0 on Corrode, but this is actually going to be the Eagles map pick for map 3. They are 1-1. I believe they won a matchup 13-6, and then the matchup that they lost
against a triple duelist comp. Let's see how they handle this this bonus round. If they can win this bonus round, it's going to be very successful. Yubikari goes down to Mikachan's Outlaw.
We see TCK here only rocking a pistol. We see Starco's only with the Sheriff as well. They may have forced up in that last round and not winning it and not able to get anything coming through are going to be on a lighter buy, even though it is round 3 here.
Yeah, they went for the light buy rounds because they forced up the second round, hoping they can just, take that momentum back as they've been able to in the past. Flybaby getting really aggressive with that Deagle, and Rain finding 2 and almost finding a third, but Chubby Dean able to get away in time, finds a second from Jalen, but Dubes lurking through mid, shoots Chubby Dean in the back.
Yeah, had the crossfire set up there, Reyna can be very good about isolating those gunfights, using those eyes. And after you get that kill, you have the choice. You can either overheal or you can become in that invulnerable state for a few seconds to try and reposition off of using those, able to take down a couple, but is taken down by the captain in Dubes. And now it's a 3-round lead for Mississippi State here.
Yeah, and I also just want to take a moment to thank everybody watching in the audience. We've currently got 50 average viewers, which for an MSU stream isn't unheard of, but it is less likely. I recall from for the Egg Bowl stream, we had 87 average viewers, and we had like one R6 stream pop off insane with like an average of 45 viewers. But it's exciting to see the support that we're showing for players. Dubes finding an early pick with that Outlaw, but going down to Starcoast with that full buy Vandal. Rain with the very nice head tap, but goes down. We see a lot of damage coming up from both sides.
Yeah, this is where now that ERAU is on that full buy with those rifles, the gun diff may come into play here on those kills. Where, yes, Dubes got that first headshot, but then just outsprayed with 2 more rifles. Now Starcoast with that really tight angle onto Jalen. Even though Pleblord had the Ares and was holding down left click, flashed off the corner from Starcoast, and that'll be a first round of map 3 for the Eagles.
Sort of an unexpected round, count or start to this map. MSU Esports, as you can tell by the economy, decided to save the last round. Now they have a crazy buy in the form of Pleblord and Mikachan with the Odin. Pleblord is going to use his tripwires again and hopefully secure some kills through that very thin paper wall on A site.
Not only are we looking at the rifles here, but as we get farther in, I was just about to say it, the ultimates that are now online for both of these teams. Arcall's using that dimensional drip. Mikachan's able to spray down 1, is going to be decayed, but still able to get away. Find Starcoast, who had a Bucky, however, just the weapon needed to take down Mikachan up close. Pleblord has the Ares, is going to be just spraying through. Takes the decay and the seeds, but takes down 2 with him. Dubes is able to follow up and clean up. Not only is that a 4th round, but 3 members left alive for Mississippi State, or that many less guns that have to be invested in this 6th round.
Yeah, it's, exciting to see, especially after the unfortunate 2 losses from MSU Esports. It's exciting to see this resurgence here. For MSU Esports. I know it probably hurt a bit to lose those first rounds, especially the map that you picked. But MSU Esports not out of the game yet. They've gotten this far. All they have to do is win one simple game. I say simple, but
it's win and survive. You win to go next. Now that ERAU has made it to map, if you will. But kills still coming through for Mississippi State here. They get the opener and the secondary in round 6. 3 ultimates online if they want to use them. You have the Neon ultimate, the Neural Theft, and the From the Shadows from the Cypher and Omen. So for Mississippi State, you have a lot to play with here but you also have these sight lines between these two Odins.
Wow.
They had the crossfire set up. Mika-chan is the unfortunate kill in the back, but Jalen with the immediate trade. So now a 4v2 for the two remaining members of...
But the timing...
Yeah, too many angles, not a wide enough FOV for Jalen is going to go down. Rain trades and is traded. So 1v2. Starcos against Pleb Lord and Doob. Starcos does have the spike, is on site, down to 15 seconds. It's going to fake the tap at first. Pleb Lord is going to spam through. Looks like Starcos is going to take the fight here. Is going to have to stick this one through the smoke that Doob's provided. But now with the timing, isn't going to find the kill. Starcos with the snap. And what a clutch there to pick up a second round for the Eagles.
It was looking so good for MSU Esports, but something that I've noticed and something that, you know, as the president, I'm getting a little frustrated at is the independence of all these players. All these players deserve to be in this game. They've put so much time into this game, but a lot of the times it comes down to teamwork and trading. We've seen all of the players on MSU's side play on an island and just give up crucial picks, especially in a 1v3 situation. So I want to see more team camaraderie. And I know it might be a little hard for a map that hasn't been played as much, but I've seen it happen, especially in this map itself. A lot of teamwork. But there are points and times where they do not, and they play on an island. And I just want to see a little bit more teamwork out of them. They're doing amazing, though. They're up 2 rounds. They have the momentum still. But ERAU, not out of this map at all by any means.
The early Viper's Pit invested from Rain in that B main site. He's got a lot of Mississippi State leaning towards A and mid, but being run down by TCK. Yubikari follows up onto Jalen as well. But Doobs does find a pick back, not able to find that headshot, but Mika-chan with the Odin able to find one. About to say, maybe a little bit of a bait there on that ultimate on the self-resurrection, not able to get out of dodge. Now it's all left on to Rain, who had to leave the Viper's Pit in the 1v3. Starcos had invested in the operator, and it sings true there to bring the Eagles back to within 1.
Yeah, and after losing 2 consecutive rounds, Doobs decides to activate the timeout to try and stop this momentum. Bo has been known to have some great timeouts that change the pace of the of MSU Esports, and I hope to see the same.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is, as you called it, just like a momentum stopper for ERAU, kind of settle. I'm sure Bo wants to talk to the team and has some strats and maybe a play call for this upcoming 8th round, but it's also just kind of a mental reset for these Mississippi State defenders and hey, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We were up a couple of rounds. Let's just maintain this lead 1 round at a time, 1 map at a time. You're not going to win a best of 5 in 1 round, right? You have to win the first before you win the second, before you get to the third. So let's just take this 1 at a time. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're still in the first half of map 3. Let's maintain this lead and take it further as we go.
Yeah, for many best of 5s, I'm glad you pointed out, this is a game of endurance. And for many best of 5s, you're looking at 3+ hours of gaming. You know what that does to the human psyche, especially in Valorant? I mean,
what that does to the human posture?
That too, the back pain, I can only imagine, especially for one with unk status like yourself.
Absolutely. Loud and proud status. I have the posture of a cocktail shrimp.
Yeah.
I would not be able to do a best of 5, and I mean both gamers on both sides here, their endurance, their mental fortitude, their physical ability is all to be commended. As it looks like it's going to be a battle in mid here as we get to the mid-round portion. Jalen using that sneeze is going to find a lot here, but Doobs has been flanked by the operator. and is going to be taken down by Starcoast.
Oh.
Now, Yuikari not expecting Rain up close, but Rain can't find those Guardian shots. And Spike is going to be planted in B with all 5 members up for ERAU.
Yeah, especially with is it ERAU or is it ERAU now or?
ERAU, ERAU, the Eagles, the Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. I mean, 6 one way, half a dozen another. Either way, they've tied things up at 4 rounds apiece here in map 3.
Yeah, something that I have in common with the Eagles, and don't hold your aggression at me, MSU esports fans. But something I do have in common is that I am an aerospace major. So, I guess it's the aerothermodynamics, it's the fluid mechanics that they've taken, it's all of those hard classes that have allowed them to be as cerebral as we're seeing them play right now.
Yeah, and in them going down, like really this beginning of map 3, the first time that they've gone down in this series, the mental fortitude to come back, to not fall apart as it were. But Baby investing in the Neon Ultimate off the back of the Dimensional Drift and the Death Ball attack has made it out onto A site. 2 Mississippi State defenders pay with it for their lives. And now who wants to peek first off this angle? Starco's able to find one, but not enough. Mississippi State finds a couple of kills of their own, but the members are just too numerous for the Eagles, and they take a lead here for the first time in map 3.
Yeah, you've got to look, Bo, as the MSU coach, has got to see what did we do right in the first rounds to cause this momentum. MSU esports at a pretty pivotal moment here. I say this, but they're actually going to opt to save. So next round is going to be a pretty pivotal moment to try and bring it back and go to a 7-5 round count. Very unlikely that MSU esports wins this. Maybe they can take some weapons away. It is going to be hard when you're spotted out from that haunt so early, as lots of util dump comes out. Yuikari finds Rain, but Mikachan finds his own. Does get to grab that Phantom though. Pretty quiet parts of the round here, as both sides don't want to take the first initiation. I spoke too soon.
Looks like TCK may have picked up on what Mikachan was putting down with that Odin, able to find those last 2 there, stretch this lead to 2.
Yeah, quite literally so. I mean, Mikachan, dead body dropped that Odin, and TCK actually literally picking it up.
And we'll have to see if Mississippi State can find some advantage off of their ult advantage. 3 ults to 1 here. You are down 2 rounds. There's 2 rounds left in the half. So we'll have to see what they're able to do with these combination of ultimates along with the weaponry as well. Dubes goes down early. So that is 1 set of smokes gone for Mississippi State on this defensive side here. But Jalen trades back. The aggression from Baby not going to be a factor later on in this 11th round. Now Starco's with that op, does miss the shot. Mikachan makes him pay. Now with the man advantage yet again, I say that, and there goes Pleblord, falls to Yuikari. That is the neural theft that is off the table as well. Now as Spike goes down, Jalen holding on to this fade ult is going to be using it as well. Going to be countered as well. No one's going to be able to see, hear, or even smell anything as Mikachan's running in with the finger lasers, takes down Yuikari in the Clove, immediately popping their ult, or Jalen takes them down a second time, finds a kill onto Chubby Dean as well. Now in the 1v1, it's all fades, and the Odin more bullets and more penetration. It's a 7-4 scoreline at the half. Excuse me,
Yeah,
one
really.
round left before the half.
All good, all good. I mean, this is a third map, and I totally get it. Some things happen, but interesting play from Jalen to throw his haunt over the little hubby box, even though he knew he was close. That could have been the difference between that and success. My baby getting really close with that neon, but gets wall banged very nicely. And Yukari saying nice shot in chat. Very giving him his flowers.
Respect where respect's due there. An early 2-man advantage for Mississippi State here. Again, sitting on the neural theft, you have the from the shadows for the quick rotation if need be from Dubes. Mikachan playing close. Marco's not quite getting the bounce off of that flash and is going to pay for it. Rain able to find one. Not expecting TCK, who was not expecting Mikachan. Odin meet Odin here. Spike is dropped, and it's all left to Chubby Dean's Reyna in the 1v4 here. Mississippi State trying to bring that round deficit back to within 2 before taking on the attack side. They are going to let Chubby Dean have Spike. They're both watching the same angle, but that neural theft is going to give it away. Dude's holding on to the paranoia. It's not needed. Mikachan able to spam through and take down Chubby Dean at the half. It's 7-5 Eagles, but Mississippi State trying to mount the comeback here on this attack side.
Absolutely. You know, this is a different story. MSU Esports still down in the round count, but don't count them out. Only 2 left. MSU Esports is on the attack half now. And as a reminder, the team comp from ERAU looking like a competitive lobby with the 3 duelists. That's going to absolutely prevent them from playing, you know, site hold on site, which is exactly why we see Lie Baby about to slide into B main by himself, it looks like.
Yeah, you'll have to think that ERAU is going to be trying to play a lot more, like playing for their ones, so to speak. You see Lie Baby just jump peeking here, but you're jump peeking out, you give your position away. But yeah, you saw that the numbers are there for Mississippi State, but like their numbers mean there are more guns that are going to be pointing and shooting at you. Rain with the opener on the Star Coast. So no Yoru left in this one as Spike does go down for Mississippi State. 5v4 post plant hold. Gonna have to see the paranoia coming through, but Lie Baby taking down Jalen. Chubby Dean following up as well as the exec comes through. Dubes is good for 1 as they fall away. Leveler takes 1 before falling as well. Dubes not able to find the shots. Chubby Dean's ghost eventually does find the headshot onto the Omen. Spike went down, but the round goes the way of the Eagles, and it's 8-5 here.
I like the direction that MSU Esports was taking, especially with taking that spawn space. But ERAU, aware that this site take was very quick, decides to go 4 men into mid. Knowing of that quick aggression, it's a pretty fair assumption to say that nobody's going to be lurking. But MSU Esports really needed to pivot off of that, realize that their site hold and their spawn hold is not being fruitful, and they have got to pivot back and realize that, you know, the 4-man site retake is coming from mid.
The Guardian invested from TCK, had the crosshair line up through the smoke, takes down 1. Starcoast, another with the Outlaw. Mikachan, good for 2 on the Bucky, evening things back up. However, Starcoast on the Outlaw yet again, taking down the Neon. No more sliding into DMs in this round, at least not for Mississippi State. Down to Jalen and Dubes here. The angsty, I mean, I would assume both of these agents wear eyeliner. I'm just going to call it now. The angsty agents themselves. Lie Baby with the long-range Spectre finds the headshots and takes him down. That's a 9th round for the Eagles.
You know, I wouldn't say that Omen needs the eyeliner. I think he just, you know, has his own. I don't even know if that's like 3 eyes underneath that shroud, or he just has a really long nose or something. I'm not sure. But I will say this: I've got 24,000 channel points, dog food, if you will, invested in this game, MSU Esports. Please let my insider trading, insider investment come to fruition.
The president believes here in map 3, Mississippi State gonna have guns going into this one. You can see it's a bit of a scrappy buy from the Eagles. Some pistols. We see the Outlaw, but also some shotguns. We saw one Judge and one Bucky, I believe, against the rifles. They had stacked up in that clove smoke, moving in mass. Rain hears them. Not able to find the first shots and is overwhelmed as well. Was hoping to find the headshot, was not quite there. Is going to fall. Spike has gone down, however. Rain was just holding flank. Levelord finds one before being overwhelmed, but the rifles are coming through here. Mikachan's Odin has settled things back in Mississippi State's favor, and now Dudes on that flank. CCVK had picked up a Guardian and gets one, but Mikachan good for 3 to bring this back to within a 3-round deficit.
Yeah, the round count 6-9 right now, 3-round deficit, like you were saying. It's getting close, and for MSU Esports' sake, that round was pivotal to win. If they didn't win that round, you can say goodbye to another round, and it would be 5-11, which is hard to wrap your head around. But MSU Esports are not out yet, going into this 16th round with 3 rounds left to climb out of the trenches. I wouldn't say it's a trench. It's more like a small little divot.
Yeah, going against full guns, Mississippi State, the disadvantage by way of shield, not all reinvesting into the full shield, saving those credits. Starkos had made a little bit of movement up mid, still playing behind these clove smokes, not wanting to get over aggressive here. Mississippi State does have the crossfire set up on that attack side. The Steve's coming through, Dusty 1. Mikachan slides through, but too far. And the Odin from TCK finds 2 when the dust settles and the smokes rise. It is going to be the Eagles on top here, only losing 1 member, and they're the first to reach double digits in map 3.
The Eagles playing more like a Phoenix would after those smokes come down, those ashes, if you will, and coming out on top. You know, the kryptonite that was for the rest of the teams. Mikachan's Odin is being channeled by the opposing team, and you know, as somebody in the audience for Egg Bowl, I heard some very interesting things about Mikachan's Odin, sort of like how it's a, you know, this unstoppable force. And anyway,
against the pistols here, Mississippi State trying a death ball of their own, trying to get a couple of kills, go their way. The Starkos, here's the jumping from Dubes. They're only able to take down 1. And they give up the 11th there, hoping for more of an investment from Mississippi State here now that they have a little more currency. And now Mississippi State, they're down to 5, or they're in a 5-round deficit, down to 2 rounds left. And on this timeout here, Dubes and Bo want to talk to the team.
I honestly would not be surprised if Dubes is currently in call saying, guys, we're amazing. We're just better. We've worked so hard to get to this point. There might be some part talking about strategy, but I'm going to be honest, sports fans. I think these players need some encouraging words right now. They're down 2 maps. They're down currently in the final map. Well, could be final map. 5 rounds. It's hard to rally the troops. And I know if it's something that Will can do, Dubes can do properly, is to rehype his team back up. You've seen it so many times before. It's a reason why, you know, he's been team captain for well over 2 years now. And that's because he can rally the troops effectively. And I fully trust in him being able to, you know, tell these players that they are very skillful, they're technical, and they deserve to be in these finals.
Yeah, I agree here for Mississippi State. It's a lot of again, we've talked about it before, but I think a lot of it does come down to mindset here. You know, it's not over until it's over. You know, you have the cliches. It's not over until the fat lady sings or the last bell comes through. And as Megachon finds the opener with that Odin there, GCB answers with one, and now the trades are coming through for both. Rain has made it onto site and has the Viper's Pit down as well. So 2 members left alive for both teams. The only problem is Spike is not in Rain's possession. So Pleblord having to pick up Spike, investing that neural theft just to make sure that everyone knows, or at least Mississippi State knows, where the members are for ERAU. No. Starco's investing that dimensional drift, pinging out not only Spike, but also where the players are. Going to send that clone and the teleport in, and now it's just about timing. You see the flash does go behind. Rain with a great angle there to isolate Chubby Dean. Pleblord finds Starkos, and off of a couple of ultimates invested from both teams, Mississippi State still in this one, 7-11.
That was probably the most ideal agents for MSU to stay alive. You've got the Cypher with the tripwire, or the trap wire, I believe that's exactly what it's called, allowed ERAU to be seen. That would have been absolutely just devastation for MSU esports if they didn't have that trip set up. Sure, they might have been aware of it, but that exact information allowed MSU esports to be aware of the flank and forced out the ult from Starkos. Really early 2 picks from MSU esports. You've got to make a pretty good assumption that there's nobody else left on site. And that's going to be side take for MSU Sports.
Yeah, third kill on the round early here. Mississippi State trying to start a little bit of a snowball. Pleblord holding down the flank. I don't believe Aziz Saw is able to find one. Are they going to expect the second? Shots coming through, but not finding their mark. But Rain is able to find Lie Baby, and now bringing it back. It's 8-11 here. Mississippi State sitting on 3 ultimates. Only need 3 more rounds to tie this thing up.
William Dubes Bratton, what exactly did you say to your players? Because great job. These players seem like they're playing the first round of the first map again, and I'm here for it. Let's keep seeing them succeed. Let's bring it to a 4th map and a 5th map.
As we see the Eagles sitting on 4 ultimates of their own here, but many more losses of rounds. And they're going to be out of money and out of weaponry. Aberdeen finding the opener this time onto Dubes, having the member advantage. Megachon able to escape with their life in that ever-present Odin. Starko's nothing but a sheriff. Doing enough with those flashes to keep anyone from pressing on. Megachon deciding to take the aggression. Made it out onto A site. Pleblord takes down Starkos. That's going to be A site for Mississippi State. Now 2 ultimates coming back from the Eagles. They invest in the Empress. They invest in Fade's ult as well. But kills still coming through for Mississippi State. Excuse me. Chubby Dean finds one onto Rain. And a second as well. That Empress, you know, the...
Oh my gosh.
You see the movement speed. You see the auto heal. You see the fire increase of your rate of fire, excuse me. And an ace for Chubby Dean is going to push this one to mat point and match point for the Eagles.
Yeah. MSU Esports has a pretty hefty hill to climb. They've got to win 6 rounds in a row, assuming that overtime wouldn't go past the first round. But yeah, you know, after giving up a couple rounds from the side of ERAU, giving up a couple rounds in succession, they are answering back with Chubby Dean pulling out a 5K right out of thin air.
Yeah, that Empress really strong when you're able to isolate your gunfights, and was able to do just that. And now it's just a brawl outside of A main here. 1 member falling for each team as we're all spraying through that clove smoke. is going to be Starkos that goes down for the Eagles, and Mikachan goes down for Mississippi State. Pleblord with the off angle, had the crossfire set up.
Let's go.
Pleblord's good for 1, but Jalen cleans up with 3. It's pick your poison on the inventory with all of those weapons on the ground. Now, Mississippi State not out of this one yet. They can't afford to lose one, but only 3 to bring it to overtime.
Yeah, it's possible. And MSU Esports knows what's at stake, knows that ERAU has 1 round left to win. And it looks like from the ace securing that ERAU is I think getting pretty confident, pretty cocky here. Chubby Dean looking to take that angle with the sheriff. Decides to back off, in the case that he does get picked off before being able to dismiss out of there. But yeah, it's like we've seen with the knife kill before. We saw the bait to secure the ace from Chubby Dean. It's I don't think they're taking MSU seriously here, and it could spell defeat. It could, both these players, both these teams have a reason to be here, and I think ERAU needs to be a little bit more cautious and conscientious about that.
Mikachan able to do a lot of the
Great
damage, but Pleblord finds the 2 kills to open up that B site for Mississippi State. And as Spike goes down, there's only 3 members left up for the Eagles. I have Starkos' Yoru, you got the Clove and the Reyna. 3 members left up, technically 4 if you want to count the Clove ult that can be used for that resurrection. Chubby Dean slowly making his way out onto side. A very passive hold for Mississippi State. Uikari able to take down Mikachan with the Sheriff as well.
It's really scary.
Now they are able to take down Starkos with the crossfire. Dubes is able to find the paranoia. Takes a second to find the shots onto Chubby Dean. And now just Uikari left alive here. No time left to Spike. Uikari is going to die to Spike. And able to find Pleblord on the way out as well. Rain not able to get away and is going to go down to Spike. So another round win for Mississippi State, but those 2 late kills are more weapons that are going to have to be invested for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it's it's going to be a very pivotal round here. ERAU fully investing their guns, 3 Vandals, 2 Phantoms. Going into this round, they are broke if they lose this round, and that's why it looks like they're opting not to take that early contact that Chubby Dean was going to take. Here's that dog, and instead, 4 people are going down mid. This could be very scary, but Pleblord is a good position. Let's see what Pleblord does here. He does get found out by Lie Baby, but he can calm to his team that a bunch of players are
Mississippi State does need to be aware that just because there are a lot of players rapping, that does not mean they are all rapping. We also see Starkos swinging back around to help ECK. That's 2 members now coming back from spawn. Rain is good for 1. Not able to find the second yet. It's a 2v2 here. As the guns are coming through with just Dubes left alive, and the captain can't get all 3. And after a lead and a close comeback, Mississippi State will eventually drop the map 3. 10-13. It was a lot closer than the first 2, but could not find the victory there. And Mississippi State's season is going to end as the runner-up in your NECC Division 4 finals. They'll take home 2nd place. And with this being their lone defeat of the season, going 7-1 in the league this year.
Yeah, I mean, although they did not win this map, like I've said before, these players still have put in so much time to get to where they are. So much so that they are very likely to move up to Division 3. And they might, see Embry Riddle again in the future next season in the spring. And yeah, that I said that, and with that, hoping to maybe see another match against them in the future. So that maybe MSU Esports can take what they've learned from this map. I'm sure it's going to be a great chance for them to VOD review over the winter, get better, and train. I'm not exactly sure if Dubes, the team captain, would like to do an interview, but we're going to go to a quick intermission. And if not, the stream will end. But we're going to go to a quick intermission, see if they would like to do an interview even after the loss, just to talk about the season and how far they've come. But we will see you shortly, possibly for an interview.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a couple of players from the Mississippi State roster willing to join us here. Will Dubes Bratton, the captain, and Aiden, aka Mika Chan, the Neon Odin Demon. Guys, I know not really the ending and outcome we had hoped for, but not to take anything away from a really, really incredible season. Only one loss coming in the finals, undefeated otherwise. I just want to say congrats first and foremost for making it to the finals. Um, and I'm going to pass it over to Ben for the first question.
Yeah, so to first start off, I wanted to ask Will, team captain, longtime enjoyer of Valorant, and longtime investor in the program here at Mississippi State University Esports. Will, I want you, as the team captain, to take a moment to briefly explain everyone's role in the team and why they're important to the success of each map.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll start with Keaton. I think that's Plublord, by the way. He plays Cypher for us. Most of what we do is built around his playstyle. So his job is to control space on the map and give us options. We can't do anything if he doesn't do that successfully. So he's not a fragger. He's not going to be the flashy player that shows up at the top of the leaderboard, but he's playing the most important role tactically in what we do. And he's controlling space, he's setting up lurks, he's anchoring sites defensively, um, all those types of things. He's taking timings. His cipher ults are insanely impactful when he can get them.
Right.
um, then I'll go to Jalen. He plays initiator for us, so his job is to basically like follow the core group around, and set us up for success with his utility. Again, he's also not like on a fragging role. He's gonna have utility in his hand a lot of the time. But as you know, we play a lot of Odin, especially Aiden here in the call. And Aiden's gets a lot of kills every single series off of Fade Eyes and Sova Darts that Jalen throws. It can really open up around and control space. He's very good at that. And then Joey and I play a little bit more of flex roles. Joey's been almost entirely on controller this year. I think he is entirely on controller outside of playing Raze on split. Um, and so his job is to get his gun in hand as much as possible and kind of control some of the macros in the rounds to set us up for success. So if he's on Raze on smaller maps like Split or Bind, he's our entry. He's our way to create space on the map. And then when he's on controller on every other map, he's literally cutting up the map and setting up how we want to play the round. And then Aiden is basically entry fragger. He's a psychopath. His job is to point and click and run behind our utility and take the space that we create for him. Without him, we might be able to create space, but we'd never be able to take it. So it's very important that he's there. And then my role is really Johnny on the spot. I do like pretty much anything. A lot of times I'm on ERAU, which is a major hybrid character. Sometimes I'll be anchoring sites. Sometimes I'll be opping. Sometimes I'll be entering. Sometimes I'll be playing initiator with flashes and clones. So it's really just whatever the situation calls for. And I also flex. So I played Omen twice tonight. Just happened to be that map pool where I happen to be not on ERAU all three maps.
Yeah.
Um, and that's it. I
Bo?
got everybody. Oh yeah, of course. Bo is our head coach, so we're all a bunch of brainless idiots. I'm kidding, but Bo keeps us in check. He helps us plan prior to matches and figure out what we're gonna do differently during VOD reviews and scrims. We've grown in ways I never could have expected this year. That's why we were able to get as far as we did, despite it being the first time this group's ever played together this
Wow.
semester. And so having him is a godsend.
Yeah, he's a very cerebral player. I've played with him before. I played with him on 2 different seasons, actually when I was a freshman and, was getting introduced to the whole thing before I hoisted myself into leadership, but yeah, he's a great player all around and everybody has a part to play, so, it's great to hear from the team captain that every role has an incredible impact, and sort of a lot of depending on each player yeah, so I'll go to Bailey for the next question now.
Yeah, just kind of a follow up onto that. You kind of took us through everyone's role. I'm just kind of curious on as a team. You said this is y'all's first season playing together. Kind of take us through Like the league of NECC is a once a week matchup based season long league. Kind of walk us through the prep and the lead up that goes in from like, all right, we had our match on Monday. Um, we have a match next Monday. Walk us through the lead up
The
to match
weekly.
day.
Yeah, I can do this. So as soon as we're done with a match on Monday, we're already looking forwards to whatever team we're playing on the next week. So thankfully, NECC has a schedule ahead of time where you can see after if for the finals for the playoffs, as soon as a team won a map and submit their results, we could see exactly what team we were playing next week. And so as soon as the game ends and we see who we're playing next week, we're already looking, what do they play? What are their team comps on specific maps? What maps do they favor? We're looking to see if they have any VODs that we can look at. We can review their gameplay, see what we can do to counter their gameplay. And throughout the whole week, we're going on and off, doing scrimmage games to practice, as well as looking third party to see what we need to do to prepare for this Monday game. Will, do you have anything else?
I mean, you hit about all the main points. We do a little VOD review, a lot of scrims, and we're usually on the game 4 or 5 days a week. We put a lot of work in, so.
It's very, very
Yeah.
interesting, and I think a great insight into what kind of goes into for all of you guys watching at home. This isn't solo queue into ranked, insta lock initiator, and then blame your teammates when you lose 3 ranks a night. Like there's a lot that
Me.
goes into this team and being just that, being a team and being as successful as this group was this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to piggyback off of your question for Aiden Mika-chan, or Brad the Brat, goes by many names online. I want to hear the origin story of the Neon Odin. I think it's probably going to be a very interesting, come to fruition story. So I'll let you take it away.
Sure, absolutely. It actually started way back in episode 3, Act 1, is when I started playing Valorant. That was nearly 5 years ago at this point, and I was not good. I placed Iron 3, and I
Just
really
like
didn't
me.
like the game. And so I didn't play for a long time after that act, but eventually I came back, played with friends, and I really enjoyed Viper. And at the time, Viper was a really, really good agent
Broken.
that people didn't realize was as good as she was. Remember, Viper has had 9 nerfs in a row at this point with 0 buffs since 3 years ago.
And she still played.
Yes, and Viper is still played over and over again in pro play, at least. Really not in ranked, but I was a Viper one trick. I still have more hours on Viper than I have on Neon in ranked. And the fact is that with Viper, the Odin is very powerful. You can every single piece of util that Viper has damages the enemy team. And so because of that, you need less bullets to kill with the Odin. You can spam through walls, spam through smokes, and get a lot of free kills. So because of that, I became really, really good at the Odin. It became my most used weapon in something like episode 6. And eventually Viper got nerfed, and then nerfed again, and nerfed again, until Viper was basically unplayable in ranked because Viper is not an agent that you can play without good team play.
Right.
And
Takes a
so
lot of setting up.
I decided, look, I need to switch agents. What do I like? And I looked through all the agents and I didn't like that many, but I decided to try Neon, even though Neon was at the time really, really bad.
Yeah.
And immediately it clicked. Neon clicked with me. The movement with the Odin seemed like really cringe. Everyone would always complain in all chat, always complain about the play style, and I
Oh, yeah.
already knew that that was what I wanted to stay on. So because of that, I've been playing ranked with Neon Odin for over a year now, and because of that, it's just transferred really well into professional play as well.
Yeah, and it was a big reason why it's secured you the MVP trophy for our esports egg bowl against Ole Miss. Like I said earlier in stream, people were talking about your gameplay like an eldritch horror. Like it would, come after these players and just consume them. And there's a good reason behind it. And yeah, it's just that's a pretty cool story. Good to hear.
Thank you.
Bailey.
Yeah, just wrapping up here. Dubes, I love you, man. We've known each other for a few years now. As the captain, I feel like it's only fair to open the floor up. Is there anything you want to say to all the people watching? Hopefully from the safety of their homes and apartments in this crazy weather that's hitting us right now, but just all the people that have supported you and supported this team.
I mean, it's been a heck of a ride this semester. I mean, coming into it, the expectations with a new team are always very uncertain. But we set the tone very quickly within the first 3 to 4 weeks that this was a season that had a lot going for it. Our original goals were to make the NECC playoffs and make the finals, which we did. It
Check
was
and
to
check.
create or make the Project One playoffs, which we did. That's a national league, only one division. And then
Woo.
the third goal was to win the Egg Bowl, which we did. So while we came up short in the Project One playoffs and we came up second place in the NECC finals here, I think we've earned ourselves a promotion to Division Three in NECC,
Absolutely.
and we've accomplished a lot. So I'm really proud of this group. The only thing I really have to say is just thank you guys for the support this whole season, to the stream team for putting our matches on display for people to watch, and then for all the people who tuned in. And I'm really excited to see what happens in the spring. I think it's going to be even better. Where I mean,
Oh yes.
we're only going to improve. So I'm really excited to keep playing with this group. And one last thing to my team is just that I'm insanely proud of everyone on this team, including our coach Bo. The level of commitment we have, I know I said this at the Egg Bowl, is unlike anything I've ever experienced. These guys really want to be a good team, and that's why we are a good team. We're committed to the process. We do things the right way, and we get good results. Just unfortunately, we didn't get the last result tonight, but that's okay, and a ton to build on. And next semester, we come at it one last fucking rodeo and see if we can make something happen.
There you
Well
go. Your
said.
captain, Will Dubes Bratton, ladies and gentlemen. Want to thank everyone at home for sticking around and watching, and thank you for supporting all season. For all y'all students, it's about to be finals week. Get in the library, get in the books. Don't fail your classes. All right. Take care of yourself. Drink some water. Stretch, straighten that back out. I know we all have cocktail shrimp back every now and then. Mine's just a little worse than yours. Thanks everyone for watching. Thank y'all for supporting MSU esports. Be sure to follow if you're not already. And if you have a free Twitch Prime sub, why not use it here? You'll
It
get
helps
those
us.
emotes and ad-free viewing. Thank y'all. Have a good night. Stay safe. Stay warm. We'll see you in the next one.
Hail State.